So hello everyone. Today we are going to study what are the different types and kinds of demand and what are the different concepts of demand. So the first type of demand is the price demand, and this type of demand indicates the price and effect relationship. That is, it explains the impact of changes in price of a particular product and on the quantity demanded, and the other things remain constant. So we can say that it is a functional relationship between price of a particular product and the quantity demanded. So it is explained with the help of an example. So dx is the demand for x commodity and f represent the functional relationship, and px is the price of the commodity. So they both have an inverse relationship. Higher the price, lower will be the quantity demanded, and vice versa. That is why the demand curve is sloping downwards. The next kind of demand is the income demand. This kind of demand shows that income affects, which explains the impact of changes in income of the consumer on the demand of a particular product, and other things will remain constant. So it is the functional relationship between the income of the consumer and demand of the product, and it can be explained as the dx is equal to fy, that dx is a demand of x commodity, f is the functional relationship, and y is the income of the consumers. Now from income demand point of view, goods can be classified into two categories, and the two categories are superior goods and inferior goods. So in case of superior goods, income effect is positive as demand for them increases with the rise in the consumer income, and vice versa is the situation. And then the second concept is inferior goods. In this particular case, the demand of goods decline with the increase in consumer and vice versa. So the income effect is negative in case of such goods, but there are certain other types of goods also, and which shows the direct relationship between price and demand. So this phenomena was observed by Robert Giffins, and hence to give him honor, inferior goods were also termed as, some inferior goods were also termed as Giffen goods, and there is a difference between inferior goods and Giffen goods. So only those inferior goods are termed as Giffen goods on which consumer spends comparatively a large amount of income. So all Giffen goods are inferior goods, but all inferior goods are not Giffen goods, because Giffen goods exhibit direct price demand relationship, and generally these goods which are considered inferior by the consumer, but it occupies a substantial place in consumer budget, and that is why they are called Giffen goods. Example of such goods can be coarse grain like bajra and low quality of rice and wheat. So Sir Giffen observed or claimed that the law of demand does not apply on some inferior goods. Demand of inferior goods increases on increase in their price and decreases on the fall of their price. And those particular goods were known as Giffen goods. So there are ordinary goods also and Giffen goods also. So we can see in ordinary goods, normal goods are there where elasticity is greater than zero. Concept of elasticity we are going to study in the coming chapters. And normal goods are classified into luxurious and superior goods and necessary goods. And in Giffen goods is a part of inferior goods. So if I talk about the disposable income and the quantity demanded, it increases for superior goods and it decreases for inferior goods. So this is the graph of, there are certain category of goods like inferior goods, normal goods, luxurious goods. So this graph represent what if the income increases, so what will be the effect of quantity demanded on normal goods, luxurious goods and inferior goods. Then we have cross demand, the demand of the commodity is also influenced by the change in the price of its related goods, and the related goods can be substitute goods or complementary goods, and this is technically termed as cross goods. So when dx is equal to function of pr, that is the price of related goods. So and it is also a price of and it is and it can be said that, so py is the price of y commodity and it is related to either substitute goods or complementary goods. So the cross demand of a commodity depends upon the nature of the related goods. So the first is cross demand for substitutes, and substitute goods can be easily placed for each other for satisfying a particular brand. So we can say that tea and coffee or Pepsi or Coca-Cola or wheat and rice are substitute goods or competing goods because they can be easily replaced in place of each other. And the impact of changes in price of Y commodity on demand is known as what effect? It is known as substitution effect, and it is always positive. Then we have cross demand for complementary goods. Those goods which are used for satisfying a particular want are known as complementary goods, and which are used as complementary to each other, like tea, sugar and milk, pen and ink, printer and cartridge, car, petrol. So these all these things are complementary to each other. So the complementary effect is negative. As the price of one goods increases, the demand of other goods decreases. And then we have some other types of demand also, that is the derived demand. When a commodity is demanded for the production of some other commodity instead of its own direct use, it is called, the demand is said that indirect demand. Then we have joint demand. Many times we use two or more goods together for satisfying a particular want. The demand for complementary goods is a fine example for that. And then we have collective or composite demand. When a commodity is put to several uses, its total demand uh, in all uses is termed as composite demands. Like we have electricity and water bills are good example of such type of demand. So the different concept of demand says the first concept is direct and derived demand. So direct demand refers to demand for goods which are used for final consumptions, like demand for consumer goods we can say, and derived demand refers to demand for those goods which are needed for further production. For example, demand for cotton, for producing cotton textile. So derived demand is a demand for producer goods. It is a demand for factors of production. Derived demand for input is also dependent upon the degree of substitutability between the inputs used and the production process. Uh, like gas and coal for fertilizer production. Then we have industrial and domestic demand. So industrial and domestic demand. So the difference between domestic and industrial demand is very important from pricing and distribution point of view. In case of industrial, raw material which are also used for domestic purpose, and both of them the meaning is different. For different, domestic demand is used for domestic usage and industrial demand is used for industry usage. For example, price of water, electricity, coal is deliberately low for domestic consumption, but when it is used for industrial purpose, so the price is high. So that is why the basis of differentiation is based on the parameters of pricing and distribution. The next concept is perishable and non-durable demand, and durable and non-perishable demand. So perishable demand is also known as non-durable single use, while durable demand of goods are also known as non-perishable repeatedly used goods, like bread, butter, ice cream are example of perishable goods, like you have to consume them then and there only. So they are non-durable in nature, so you have to use it then and there, so it is of single use goods, while mobile phone, bikes are example of durable goods. So both consumer goods and producers goods may be perishable and non-perishable in nature. So perishable goods are used for meeting the immediate demand, while durable goods or non-perishable goods are meant for the current as well as future demand. Then we have new and replacement demand. New demand meant for addition to stock, while replacement demand is meant for maintaining the old stock of a capital or asset. So like the demand for spare part of machine is a good example of replacement demand, but the demand for new model of a particular item of exam, say a computer or machine, is a fine example of new demand. Then we have final and intermediate demand. The demand for semi-finished goods and raw material is derived and induced demand at it, as it is dependent on the demand for final goods. So the demand for final goods is a direct demand. So this type of distinction is based on type of goods, whether it is a final, intermediate goods, and often employed in the context of input and output model. Then we have short run and long run demand. So as the name suggests, short run demand is the immediate demand based on the available taste and technology, product improvement, promotional measures, and other factors. And price and income fluctuation are more relevant in case of short-run demand, while the changes in consumption pattern, urbanization, work culture do not significantly influence the long-term demand, and it refers to the future consumption also. Then we have individual or market demand. So individual demand for individual buyer is known as individual demand, and that of market, which is the aggregate of individual, is known as market demand. So you may note that both individual and market demand schedule obey the law of demand, but the purchasing capacity varies between the individual. Like A is high income consumer, while B is a middle income consumer, C is a low income group. So when I am plotting a graph for A only, then it is an individual demand. But when I am plotting the graph of A, B, C combined, then it is the market demand. Then we have autonomous and induced demand. The demand of product that is not associated with the demand of other product is known as autonomous or direct demand, and it arises due to the natural desire of an individual to consume a particular product. Like demand for food, clothes, shelter arises due to the biological, physical, and other personal needs. On the other hand, derived or induced demand refers to the demand for product that arises due to demand of other product, like we can say demand for petrol, diesel, and other lubricants depend upon the demand of vehicle. Demand of raw material is also derived demand as it is dependent on the production of other goods. And we can also say that substitute and complementary goods are also induced and derived demand. Then we have total market and segmented market demand. So total market means the sum total of demand in all segments of the market, but segmented market demands take care of different patterns of buying behavior and consumer. It means like dividing the heterogeneous market into homogeneous segments and then catering the need of those particular segment, because we know that each segment differ with respect to delivery prices, net profit margin, element of competition. So accordingly, for the different homogeneous segment, the market is targeted. Then we have company demand and industry demand. So what is a company? Company is a single firm engaged in production of a particular product, while industry refers to aggregate or group of firms engaged in the production of same product. So company demand is similar to individual demand, whereas industry demand is similar to the total demand. So one example is given, like demand for iron and steel produced by Bokaro plant is an example of company demand, but demand and steel produced by all iron and steel companies, including the Bokaro plant, is an example of industry demand. So that's all for today.